What's going on, boys? Thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff. Arm yourselves, life stuff. I don't know if this is an age thing, or a life circumstance thing, or a world circumstance thing, an era thing, but it feels like life has stopped. Previously in life, I derived great pleasure from progress. Even if external progress was little to none, I would at least make internal progress, and it always felt like there was something more to know or better to know in the tomorrow. And in this distant knowledge you can feel but can't quite reach yet, there was this hope, feeling like there was something to learn that would make everything make sense, or there were things to learn you could apply to your life as it is and make it better. I don't feel that way anymore. There are still things to learn every day, but at least for now, the last few years too, maybe, it doesn't feel like there's anywhere to go. It doesn't feel like there's anything to want or to get that you could realistically get that would change anything or make anything better. You can get things that will make your life more comfortable or make your life more secure or even give you more power. All things worth wanting, because a comfortable, secure, powerful life is better than a life of terror and pain. But it doesn't feel like there's any other better way to be. Or there's no way to solve what's wrong, because what you perceive to be wrong isn't, quotes, wrong, it is. If you're thinking about it like a game, you got up to this point fantasizing about these much higher levels with even higher levels beyond them. Places people haven't gone or haven't often gone. But instead, you've hit level 15 and realized that's the level cap. And you can feel an entire world of cut content out there, but there's no going there. You've stalled out. You've reached the end early, to your mind, and there is no end game. And that's what's been giving me intense dread lately. You've stalled out, maybe reached the level cap, but you feel there are heights you should be able to reach, but you aren't reaching them. You don't even have a sense of a way to try to start reaching them. And it's worse because when you were younger, there were at least lots of different sorts of people with lots of different ideas, and you could feel your way through them, figure out which parts of what they believed in worked, and construct your own leveling path up to this point. When you stalled out earlier, but you didn't really stall out earlier because you could still feel these paths forward. Now, you don't feel any path forward. And there is, at least to my eyes, to my nose, nobody close to the right path, or a right path. And when I say stalled out or level cap, I don't mean material. As in, if you dropped $5 million in my lap, my life would get a lot better. I could probably figure out how to make my life stay better from this point to the grave, but it wouldn't upgrade you or give you this perspective on the world you're looking for that will change things or make you feel a different way. Life, to me, is a spiritual journey, a mystical journey, but it no longer feels like there's anything on the horizon, other than this feeling there should be. And although I say there's no end game, there is sort of an end game state, but it's more of this grinding, slogging thing. In the past, revelations and your trials and tribulations were rungs on your ladder to somewhere higher. These days, you still have revelations, but each revelation is the fact, yes, what you think now or what you are now is what is. Things like anyone who promises you certainty is a liar. And perceived certainty is an excuse for people to do shitty things to one another. You feel like by now you would have a new spin on this. You're playing Minecraft, you would have upgraded to another tier of ore or something, but it's not. All it does is, or all your present understanding does, is get more intricate. It doesn't get higher, it gets more nuanced. But the core hasn't changed or evolved. Why? Because there's no path higher. You can do all sorts of different things. You can experiment with different beliefs, but inevitably, they either fail or they do okay, but not as good as where you are right now, and in any case, you're led right back to where you are right now. Was it Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? I think it was one of those versions. The kid in the plane crash, and wherever he goes, he ends up right back at the plane crash. That's how this feels. You can look at things any way you want. You can try to feel about them any way you want, and different people can feel all different sorts of ways about what is, but it doesn't change what is. And the point you've arrived at is an awareness, and not even just an awareness, a knowledge, but you feel it in your skin what is. And then, like a rope around your neck, you're hit with this slow, creeping, encroaching, oh shit, this is it. Like the Hemingway, very slowly and then all at once. Why isn't there more? Or if there is more, then why haven't we found it yet? I trust my nose more than anything, and so far, I don't smell anyone getting further or higher. And where we are, either on an essential level, it should bother you, or you should be wondering why, from your youngest, you were conditioned to expect more. Is it all nothing more than a method of control? Prime people to expect more than there is, so you can keep most people in a forever state of griftability. I feel like there is supposed to be more, but righteousness isn't telling me if that's an indication there is more, or if it's an indication you've been duped. All righteousness has to say is this is the era of grinding, and not in the hustle grind sense, more in the grind your bones to make my bread sense. Externally, it is constant testing of you with no reward other than sustainment. In the past, you would get tested and you would come out of it with some loot or some shit. These days, overcoming tests equates just to keeping what you have and not having great avenues to get back what you've lost once you fail tests and lose something. And then, on top of that, constant reinforcement of your present understanding of things. People are eager to trick you and trip you up and psych you out and try to make you believe you don't know what you know or you aren't seeing what you see. And I think that's because they need to believe they've found some solution, and it's constant enough, it starts to get into your head. But the thing is, you arrived here because you were open to the universe's surprises. And the universe does surprise you sometimes. But there aren't many surprises anymore. The few unexpected or surprising things you run across these days don't lead you elsewhere, they reinforce where you are, or put one of those little spins on where you are. There are no more progressive revelations. And part of me has my fingers crossed this is more of a time thing, as in, at some point, these progressive revelations will come back. But it's been a while, and I don't smell any on the horizon. And it really bothers me that I don't smell paths forward in anyone else. Now, it feels like there are three classes of people. The grifters, who promise certainty and satisfaction. The grifted, who need to believe in certainty and satisfaction and are exploited for it, and will try to exploit you for it. And then the stagnating or the stalled out. We've arrived at a place that is grim. And one pattern I see in these sorts of people is some will half-heartedly try to cope or try to do the grift or the self-grift, engaging in this self-improvement bullshit, believing that's the path to certainty. But the thing is, the people in this state who are doing that feel like they don't even believe it. They'll try to, because what else is there to do? But you've already, at this age, at this state, you've already done all the things you are trying half-heartedly now to champion. And they didn't work before. They didn't work for 10 years, 15 years. You're returning to them not out of belief in them, but rather, well, there are a few reasons. Because, one, there's nothing else to do, so you might as well make your time somewhat productive, try to get your life at least comfortable. That's understandable, but that doesn't resolve this mystical stalling out we've achieved. It's painful, so you want to try to believe in something, even if you don't, which, in my experience, makes you feel worse. Or you're trying to make yourself go the grifter route, but the thing about grifters, the best grifters, most of them believe in what they're saying. Just about every grifter is not above a grifted, they're more like advanced grifteds. They are a more powerful manifestation of a lower life form. You've stalled out, so you lack the belief required to really sell the grift. So your only real option is to adopt a different grift and try to become a grifter in one of the more popular camps. But if you've stalled out, you stalled out because you got out of those camps, and returning to them will make you only more sick. Truly, you are fucked. We are fucked. I fantasize about all the different ways things could go right in my life. Realistically, I mean. According to the patterns we've learned, according to the patterns that reinforce themselves at every opportunity. I could be a famous author. I could be a famous van life blogger. I could be a renowned revolutionary. I could even simply climb the nonprofit corporate ladder and find comfortable success there. All those things would be great, but nothing would change because it's the patterns that kill you. The life patterns, the people patterns, things that are beyond your ability to change. The height of what you can do is comprehend them as much as your feeble human mind can, and conveniently to the point that'll make you miserable, so you'll spend the rest of your life living in the vibrations of a source you can't do anything about. And you know it's fucked when in your fantasies, the high fantasies about becoming the next Napoleon or Caesar or some shit and changing your nation for the better and taking the future into your hands and building a brighter tomorrow, and still knowing, even if you were to do these things, the underlying patterns would still be the same. You can prune the tree or the hedge into any shape you want, and nothing within the roots will have changed. And I wasn't expecting the video to go in this direction, but videos are therapeutic. What's the core pattern, or what is the constant? It feels like you aren't supposed to be here. But you are supposed to be here. I think, anyway. So what gives? Why does it feel like there was a mix-up and your soul, your self at your most natural, was supposed to be somewhere else, in a different universe? And if you are supposed to be here, then why? What are you supposed to be doing? And how are you supposed to know what you're supposed to be doing without any form of direction? And I mean the most internal direction. Or another way of looking at it, if you are right now exactly what you're supposed to be, in exactly the place you're supposed to be doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, then why doesn't it feel that way, except in, and this is the outlines of your consciousness shit, why does it feel like this is the way it's supposed to be only so far in the background of your mind? And again, if this is what you're supposed to be doing, if this is all as it is supposed to be, why does it feel like this? And this is a contradiction because, as I just said, somewhere deep in the back, it does feel like this is the way it's supposed to be, but closer to the front, it doesn't feel that way at all. It feels like something is missing, or I don't know. If this is the way things are supposed to be, then why can't we know that? Even in the smallest way. Even if we will never know the purpose of this arrangement, why can't we feel at least a little bit more certainty that things are supposed to be like this, so we don't have to feel the way I'm feeling now? Why does it need to be, or why do you need to stall out and then exist in this morale vacuum? I have no idea. We'll keep our nose open, but I'm not holding my breath. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.